Okay guys, first up, welcome back, and I know y'all know what time it is. It is time for part 2 of the Xbox Series X versus the PS5 1 year anniversary edition. So, let's get into it. Oh, and guys, it's officially the birthday of the PS5. You heard, it is officially the birthday. So let's waste no time and let's get it commit this crime. There ain't no crime, guys. I'm just hyping y'all up. I'm just kidding. But I'm really honored to be talking about these two masterpieces right here. These are two literally biggest creations of the 21st century. Let's get it like that. So let's put this part 2 into action. And yes, it is a final part as well. There will be no part 3. This is the final one. But let's discuss everything right here. Now, these topics are as listed. First up are specs. After that, we'll be talking about raw performance, basically explaining which console's raw power is better, meaning a higher for quality difference in frame rate each console has when running the same game. After that, we'll talk about the accessories that come with each consoles. We also want to talk about the controllers and the console itself, like the design of the consoles, and basically that's that. And then after, we're gonna wrap up this video with some pros and cons, and I'm gonna basically give you guys a little recommendation if you're to get a new console right now, like which one should you get, like based on not just the faster the better one, just like what you want, like what is gonna work for you. So that's what we're gonna do in this video, so let's get into it, guys. And also I'm gonna announce the winner. Yeah, we're gonna announce which console is the best, well, been the best for the last year since launch till now. I know we all know the answer to that question, but still, I'm gonna announce it. I don't care. Now, when it comes to the specs that the Xbox Series X features, well, the Xbox has an 8-core custom Zen 2 processor running at a 3.8 GHz with a 12 teraflop 52 compute units, custom RDNA2 GPU running at 1.25 GHz. Also, alongside with 16 GB of GDR6 RAM with a 320-bit wide bus and a memory bit of 10 GB at 560 GB speed and a 6 GB running at 360 GB per second speed. And for storage, there will be a 1 TB NVMe solid state drive, or SSD for short. Although out of the box you will only be able to use like 800 plus gigabytes. Has built-in programs and software, takes up internal storage as well, so keep that in mind. Now, the Series X optical drive is a 4K ultra high definition Blu-ray drive, with the console being able to play games up to 4K 120 FPS, and the console also support 8K HDR and also support a 2.1 HDMI port to output all that 4K 120 FPS display, alongside with an internet port, wireless internet support, and 3 USB 3.1 port. While on the other hand, the PS5 has a Zen 2 based 8-core processor running at 3.5 GHz with a custom RDNA2 GPU with a 10.28 teraflop with 36 compute units running at 2.23 GHz, alongside with the 16 GB of DDR6 RAM running at the memory bandwidth at 440 GB speed, also with a custom 825 SSD, but with only 667.2 gigabytes being usable, has built-in software and program, also takes up space on the SSD as well. There's also a 2.1 HDMI port for 4K 120 FPS gaming and a NVMe slot for expandable storage, alongside with an internet port and also a 4K Blu-ray drive. Now, those are some of the most beastly spec, but the Xbox Series X is clearly the winner here, both on paper and in real-time performance. So that's one up for the Xbox Series X. So let's move on to the next topic, raw performance. Now, when it comes to raw performance in game and even simple application, which console is better and more faster to make light work of applications and keeping the game running buttery smooth without any frame drops or stuttering? Now, on paper, both of these consoles would likely to perform the same, and if not, it wouldn't be far off. But apparently, that isn't the case, as the Xbox Series X easily shows that it can easily wipe the PS5 performance. Not by a big margin, but these are next-gen consoles, and majority of the games that are being created for these consoles are not just mind-blowing, but very stunning in graphics and most definitely has to be running at a higher settings to look as good as it's intended to, so every drop of power is needed. And while the Xbox Series X has a lot more power to give compared to the PS5, but as of right now, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X perform really similar, as it's just 1 year after release and the games are not that demanding on these consoles. But say about 2 to 3 years from now, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X hardware will start to get a bit outdated for a future game, and we will see that the PS5 will be falling behind in performance due to its lesser power. But I mean, 2 to 3 years from now, we're gonna probably have a lot of new, faster versions of the PS5 and Xbox Series X. And even as such, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X will still be capable due to many games allowing to choose frame rates or quality. And soon enough we'll probably be seeing similar features to Nvidia DLSS making its way to next gen consoles. There's two things to it. There's having the raw performance and also using it, and how you're using it. Now this might not be fully the PS5 fault, but at the same time it might actually be theirs. Now the problem with the PS5 is that when it comes to game, and just to clear this, the Xbox Series X doesn't have this problem at all, which is the fact that the Xbox Series X can automatically set the best settings or higher settings for a game right away as you boot that game up. Whether it's a new game or in the old backwards compatible game, you're gonna get the best graphical fidelities, as the Series X tend to use all this raw power, while on the other end, the PS5 can't automatically choose the best graphical fidelity settings, even though the PS5 has the raw power to run the game at its best quality. It just simply can't, because, the developers of that game has to make an update for the game to run at a higher quality, which can take time before you can run your favorite games at 4K 60 FPS or 4K 120 FPS. And the sad thing is, many of these games may never get an update like older titles in general, so the games will continue to run to low resolution even though the PS5 could do better. And for that and the fact that the Xbox Series X has more raw performance and power, we just have to give this one to the Xbox Series X as well. Anyways, let's move on to the next topic. We'll be discussing the console design, the looks, as well as accessories, which include the controller and a lot more. So let's get into that. Now, the design and looks of these consoles are amazing and a bit weird in a cool way though. Well, let's start off with the Xbox Series X design. The Xbox Series X looks like a mini fridge. We heard that a lot, but it's true. With its long and junky rectangular shape, but it has more to it than just that. I think personally that Microsoft were going for a sleeper build with this one. I mean, the design is quite simple. There's not much to it. There's a power button at the front of the console alongside with a Blu-ray drive with a tons of port at the rear of the console. But the greatest part of the design for me is the ventilation on the top for the airflow. I think that was really a smart move on Microsoft, and it kind of did it for me. But even with all that, the fact is, it's the faster of both consoles. It doesn't matter how it looks, it's really how well it performs. I mean, size doesn't matter, it's just how it's being used. I mean, unless you're buying a console for the looks. But I mean, when it comes to the design of the PS5, the PS5 design comes off differently with its weird futuristic next-gen design, which is really what was expected in a way, with its white side panel and the black running in between alongside with the blue neon colors. It's easily stunning and easily comes off as a next-gen console. But I'm gonna give this a tie, as I personally think someone should not buy a console based off its looks. But if that's what you're going for, here's a tip. The Xbox Series X fits and blends in with big spaces like your living room, but for personal use or just saying the console's gonna be in the room all the time, the PS5 is pretty badass looking and will be an ideal for that reason alone when it comes to design, for me. Now, enough about designs, let's talk about controllers and accessories. Now, when it comes to the controller of the Xbox Series X, I'm not gonna even waste time discussing. It's basically the same Xbox controller, just upgraded and has a few tweaks. It's still the better controller for the hand grip, which for most gamers, it's all that matters when gaming. So far, the grip alone for the Xbox X controller is better. Oh yeah, and also the rechargeable battery. Now that can easily be swiped out and changed, unlike the PS5 controller, which you're gonna have to plug up to a charger to continue playing. Now, some cool features that the PS5 controller has are adaptive triggers. Now, this feature is very cool as it allows the triggers on top and at the rear of the controller to adjust the tension based on the gameplay. So if you're firing a pistol in COD, it would feel a lot different than if you're firing or shooting a machine gun, giving more life in that moment, or taking life in that moment. I don't know, it's COD. Another cool feature is the built-in mini speakers on the controllers, which allow you to hear second in-game's audio or background audio, and you can also hear voice chat. And also the PS5 has the returning touchpad that can be used to complete tasks in-game or be used as a button. It really depends on the game you're playing. Now, the best feature for me that I think the PS5 controller has is the haptic feedback. This feature basically allows you to feel the tension of in-game actions like drawing a bow or putting on a card, or even feel the raindrops happening in-game. A very cool feature indeed, but the PS5 controller did have its fair share of problems, and still has. With many of the PS5 controller joysticks started to drift, but even so, I'm going to give both these controllers a tie, both controllers has purpose that the other controllers just can't compete in. I mean, the Xbox Series X controller has a great grip, and the PS5 grip is not that, it sucks. It sucks. It feels, I don't know. It's not there. It's not hit. But the PS5 controller does have amazing cool features, and I think that's pretty much it. This is definitely a tie between these two. Now, for the accessories available for both consoles, we got for the PS5, of course, the DualSense wireless controller, also DualSense charging station to charge your PS5 controller, also a Pulse 3D wireless headset, a media remote for watching movies, and also a HD camera. Please note, some of these are sold separately. Now, for the Xbox Series X, the Xbox has, of course, the Xbox wireless controller, plus rechargeable batteries, plus a USB-C charging cable, a Seagate storage expansion card for, expanding your storage, because I don't think like 800 gigabyte is enough. No, because these games are huge, or games that are being made right now are freaking big, so you don't need an expansion card. And the PS5 does have something like that. Oh, it has an NVMe, which you gotta like open up your PS5 to get to it, and you can buy SSDs and place you put your SSD in there, you get more space. That's how it works basically. And please note again, all these are sold separately. Now, I'm gonna talk about in this next topic. I'm gonna definitely talk about two pros and two cons. I could have spoke about more. There's a lot, but I just couldn't because there wasn't time on my side. So I'm just gonna give you guys two pros, two cons, and also my tip on what you should do if you're gonna buy a console. So let's just talk about that right now. Now, as I said, I could spend like 30 minutes talking about pros and cons for both these consoles, but I don't got the time. So I'm just gonna use two of what I think are really to me they were kind of a problem, and to me they're like a good thing. So let's start off with the PS5. Now, the first pro for me for the PS5 is definitely the fact that it really offered that true next gen performance. I really like the games that it offered, and they felt next gen. You can literally feel that even with upgraded PS5 titles, upgraded PS4 titles I should say, you can literally feel the difference. This is next gen, so I really like that. And the second pro for this one is definitely its exclusive. My god, it got some amazing exclusive already, and there's so many exclusive that are coming up, so many. I can't wait. But for cons for the PS5, I'm definitely have to go with the controllers. The controllers have a lot of problem, not only with the grip being awful, they literally have their own problem. They be drifting. Sometimes they take a little bit of delay. Well, for me, sometimes it's hard to press on the certain keys, the D-pad and stuff. It's just kind of hard. So it's definitely a faulty controller for me. And the other thing is the PS5 interface. It was kind of frustrating at first, and definitely would take some time getting used to. Well, it did for me, and it did for a lot of people. So those are my two pros and cons for the PS5. Now let's move on to the Xbox Series X. Now, two pros for the Xbox Series X that really set aside the Xbox Series X for me. It's definitely its backwards compatibility and the fact that it's the most powerful console like at the moment. So those are my two pros. But now for the cons, is definitely yeah, you guys saw this coming. It has little to no exclusive, like at all. They got a few. I mean, Forza was released a couple days back, but that's pretty much it. The only exclusive that makes sense. I mean, there's a couple more, but those are not. They're not good. They're like some kids game or something. Not that kids game are bad, but we don't want that. This is a mainstream platform. It should have some real big boy thing. It doesn't. And also, second thing or second con for me is definitely its pricing. I feel like its pricing is really, it's not there. It's not definitely. I mean, it's the pricing for both consoles are not there because with everyone, the shortage and people selling it for like double or triple the price. But original price of it is still not okay. Well, on my opinion, I mean it's good price performance, but when you look at the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series X, the price difference are just mind blowing. I'm just gonna put it like that. Now, that's it for this video. I got a few things I missed out. I know I missed out on a lot of things, but let's just say time wasn't on my side. But here's a tip for you guys if you're gonna buy a next gen console. Now, if you're gonna buy a console just to play third-party titles, well, go for the Xbox Series X, as it will perform and look much better than the PS5 would. But if you're into exclusive, then go for the PS5, as the Xbox Series X is lacking in exclusive at this moment. So that's it for this video, guys. I'm thinking of making an Xbox Series S versus a PS5 digital video. So if I want to see that, just let me know. But until next time, guys, peace out. Wait, and actually, leave a like and subscribe. Now, peace out. Bye.